In Jeremy Renner's new series, The Mayor of Kingstown, Emma Laird plays a mysterious woman who comes to a city built around a prison. We had a chance to talk to the British actress about her first big role and why writers are saying she's someone to watch in the next year.
Hey, it's Bruce Miller in the Sioux City Journal.
Hi, Bruce.
Emma, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Well, I'm great. Did you go, oh my God, what is the United States like when you saw the script for this thing? Because this town sounds like just dreadful.
I know, it was crazy. It was so otherworldly for me, and it really did open my eyes to and I guess it's not so different in England, but you know, the American prison system, and it was a lot. It took me about 3 times to read the first episode before I really understood what was going on.
How much did you get? Because I'm sure that you figure into a lot of shifts and changes and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I only got episode 1 and 2 when I did the self-tape, and I had a brief little character synopsis, you know, but I had 3 scenes from different episodes. So I had a vague idea of what she was like, but Iris goes through this big shift that she comes in slowly into the series. She's introduced in episode 2, but really she's becomes quite centric episodes 5 to 10. But reading she goes through a big shift in about episode 5 where something happens to her and it changes her completely, and it breaks down these walls that she kind of put up to pretend that her life's all good. And so really, I didn't really know who the character was, and because these 3 scenes that I got were right at the start, and then when I slowly got into when I was on the plane to text, I was reading the rest of them. I was like, oh, this girl's not who I thought she was, but actually this is a great challenge, and also devastating and soul destroying reading it. But also I really wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it right, and I wanted the challenge. And it was so good as an actor for me as a first timer to be able to showcase this huge arc and journey that she goes on. And there's so much variation in there. And I think it's the best role I could have asked for as a first timer.
But how daunting is all of that? You know, don't you want to start slow and then work your way up?
I know, that's what people usually do, right? I feel so fortunate though. I think I was ready. You know, I won't bore you with my background, but I really felt ready at this point to take on a lead like this. And I was nervous because Jeremy was attached, and I you know, going to set, I was still wondering, can I do this? I'm not sure, because you have to just let everything go in prep and go to set and see what happens. And that's fucking terrifying. But the best part was the first, I remember, and it's still one of my favorite shoot days, the first scene I did with Jeremy, and it was so electric, and we were bouncing off one another, and there was so much chemistry and energy there. And I got home and I felt like I'd kept up with him, you know, despite this man's talents and the amount of years he spent in the business. And I just got home and sat down. I was like, I'm exactly where I need to be, and I'm doing it, and I can do it. And but it was terrifying. It was terrifying.
When they start talking about you as one of the 10 to watch, I mean, that must be really.
I know. It's you know what, I feel like I keep having these moments where I'm like, it's gonna sink in when this happens, when the show airs, when I get to set, and it's still never sinking in. And I mean, it's a huge deal. It's variety, but I'm still like, yeah, that's not real. It's nice to have some kind of, you know what, it's nice because I have always believed in my artistry, but it's good to not have to prove to as many people that I can do these things now. And I've got something that's coming out that's you know, it's not just a self-tape. It's really nice to just have time to breathe.
Well, then how do you follow something like this? Do you have like, I must do something like this so they don't think of me as that? Or
that's the thing. I think I'm a massive character actor, so I always will want to take on a different role that is completely different to myself. But my next project, I'm really focusing on being completely different from Iris. I really am drawn to really quite eccentric and bizarre, mythical. You know, I read for the role of a witch, and I turned that down for this, but I really love those kind of things. I mean, you see what Gary Oldman does with his career with, you know, with Dracula and all this. I just want completely different, physically transforming roles. So I'm not sure what's next. There's a few ideas, but it's all I know is it's going to be not Iris.
that maybe that's a good thing, you
I
know?
think it's a good thing. I want to come back for season 2, and I'm so in love with Kingstown. But it'll be nice to not go through what Iris goes through ever again in my career. I'd be happy with that.
It's okay. She's gonna have a quiet life, right?
She's gonna settle down. She's gonna enjoy the rest of her life.
Yeah, you were a model before you started acting.
I was,
Is
yeah.
there acting in modeling?
Oh God, no. I mean, you see videos in shops where they're like, and it's just, there's a bit of movement or whatever, but it helped in some ways in externalizing myself from my body was actually probably the biggest thing I took away from it, being expected to get changed outside. There's no unions with modeling. It's a very bad industry. So, I got used to being okay with nudity and not being so focused on like body image. I think is very good as an actor to just drop any insecurities you have. And that's that. I took a lot from it, but God, you can't, it's really not the same. It's just, and it's so boring. That industry is like, it's just, there was like a taste for it, there was like, oh, I'm having this internal dialogue. And then I'm like, but I want to do things and I want to continue the movement and I want to, so it gave me a little snippet, but it's so different. And I used to resent it. And I used to resent the fact that that's where it came from. But actually,
Oh, no.
yeah, it funded my career. It funded my schooling and my coaching. And it took me out of my hometown, which was a really small, quiet town in the middle of England. So I owe a lot to modeling, but certainly not any acting skills.
Well, what prompted you to say, I'm going to be an actor?
There was the only thing I loved as a kid. I love music as well and sports, but like in school, that was the only thing I loved. And it was just really, I think as artists, it transfers into so many different outlets and we want to pigeonhole artists into one, and acting is definitely my best, but I was always I wrote a really terrible novel once and it was just finding the one that stuck and fit, and just like really exploring my artistry and acting was, I took a class when modeling was going really bad and it really just opened my eyes to the theory of acting. I didn't even know that was a thing. I was like, who's Stanislavski and all this? And it just, that I had that click moment about 5 years ago at this school where I was like, oh, I want to do this and I can do this. And it was just that mentality.
Is there something you look for in a character that you tap into? Do you say that's a part of me too? Or do you, no, I don't want to play any part of me?
Yeah, I never want to play anything that's remotely like myself. Sometimes, I think that puts me off a project sometimes because I want complete externalization line. I'm not sure if that's a word. Yeah, I just want to completely transform in every way. Like even just really meticulous down to the point of how she moves her lips and I really think about every single thing that we do as a human. And I don't change things for the point of it. I think that I don't add things to be, to act it, but I always look for something that's just got an interesting narrative and a storyline. And I think the difficult thing right now with having a young playing age is finding, teenagers and early 20s girls or women to play that the age is not all that it's about. I think that's why I've always struggled to play teenagers because that's all they're thinking about is like school. And I really just don't click with that. I think that's why I went to fantasy. I really am infused with that genre because there's something more to it. And I don't know what it is. I just like to play anything but myself.
Do you miss characters ever? Do you say, oh, I would like to go back and visit her?
I mean, this really is the first thing I've done. So we'll see if I miss her. I miss being on set and I'm actually really excited for season 2 to be able to explore because and play into a character that I've really developed now. Because it was really just dipping my toes and trying to figure it out in season 1, as I'm sure everyone on set was, as with a series like this, you're just slowly learning and getting to grips. And season 2, I'm excited to go back because I know who she is now. And Taylor obviously will see what we all come up with and usually would probably write a little bit geared towards what we're good at. And I'm excited to just play someone that I'm really confident with now. And I know how to do her and I've got everything down to a T. But I'm sure there'll be roles in the future where I really I'm like, oh damn, just do it. Come on, do a spin-off. Do it, you know. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, and good luck. Let's hope this is the start of a lot of very big things.
Thank you so much. It was an honor. Thanks for speaking to me. Thank you. Bye.